Most women identifying as feminists don't care to work on dismantling benevolent sexism, which maintains the privilege they have as women. A lot of these appear in dating, but tend to cross over into law as well. Inversely, they declare that they have no privileges whatsoever, and that this reality validates their abhorrent behavior. One of the most controversial laws relating to this topic is drunken consent. The law stipulates that a woman's consent is invalid under the influence of any mind-altering substance. That law goes further to then grant determination of consent to the man in the situation. That progressive women overwhelmingly support a law that gives a stranger more bearing over their ability to consent to sex than themselves is not all that shocking. This follows the pattern of their ideology. Another one that often comes up is domestic abuse. This one is a policing issue, where policies on domestic abuse follow traditional stigmas and norms, alleging that women are physically incapable of causing harm to a man. There are numerous cases across the Western world where an abusive woman has been assumed the victim despite no or disproportionate physical harm to herself. Assuming women are wholly helpless and cannot defend themselves, let alone attack someone taller than them, is a sexist assumption of weakness. Yet, there is no call to resolve this, despite the taglines "strong women" and the like. These and other issues are most often brought up by men's rights activists. The problem is that anyone reducing women's inherent value and privileges is painted as being misogynistic, which is a slippery slope to deplatforming and suppression. The denigration of MGTOW is one such example, as a large part of their pitch is tearing down undeserved idolatry of women. There will be bad actors, and you aren't likely to get there without having a slew of bad experiences with women. That said, there is not a single group that exists today that can highlight women's privileges without being labeled misogynistic and extreme. Men get longer prison sentences for the same crime, while women get a slap on the wrist. Women get away with false allegations with almost no punishment at all. Women get away with domestic abuse and physical abuse, and men get labeled monsters and taken to jail if a woman even says they hit her. Women never get held accountable for relationship problems. It's always the man's fault for what she did wrong. Girls get graded with higher grades in school and college. Every wrong action a woman commits is justified. She cheated for emotional reasons. She sexually assaulted her student because she was lonely, and she was not responsible for getting pregnant because he should have worn protection. If she's drunk, it's rape, even if he's drunk too. Or if she's drunk and harassing him wanting sex, he's in the wrong. In relationships, a woman can do any number of things to the man, and he forgives her and gives her another chance, yet she destroys his reputation and livelihood when she's ready to discard him. She does damage control and smears his name, and it's just female nature. But if a man does it, he's harassing her, and she's in fear all of a sudden. Or it's evolutionary, or some other load of crap. I read an article about a female prison guard who had sex with inmates and gave them drugs and razors for weapons. When presented in court, she blamed everything she did on the fact she was going through a difficult divorce at the time. The judge let her off with community service. If a man did that, do you think he would have the same treatment? This is because women in today's society discovered a superpower, the power to victimize themselves to avoid accountability and responsibility for all things. Feminism endorses this inequality, because a man's greatest weakness is the facade of his strength, and a woman's greatest strength is the facade of her weakness. It's messed up, and all those women deserve capital punishment for manipulating the minds of young women to be terrible human beings who exploit everyone around them. This is toxic femininity. Society is so twisted, misandrist, and anti-men, and believes every man is evil, that if one single thing happens between men and women, people automatically punish the man, even without evidence that he has done anything wrong, and no evidence the woman is not the one to blame, even though there are just as many evil women in society as men. This, of course, means women can get away with anything. All women have to do, and what most women do, is treat men as poorly as they want, and if he speaks up about it, just play the victim card. And of course, everyone automatically believes her, without even looking into what actually happened, simply because she is a woman. Now, if a man is poorly treated by a woman, nobody believes him and makes fun of him. Many women out there use this to abuse men and treat men poorly all the time. Many women have become far too dangerous to have anything to do with, so many men have given up on modern women. As a result of all the abuse and sexism men get, a lot of men end up committing suicide, and even then we don't care. We just label men as weak for not talking well. Women would not talk if they were treated that way when they opened up either. The difference is, everyone comes running to save women, but nobody cares about men. Society considers it fine to abuse men and treat men as poorly as you want.
According to the media, this is normal, and this is extremism.
Is anyone else sick of society treating women like we are the same as men and like we need to operate the same as them, even though we run on a completely different hormonal cycle and we require more sleep than them and we're not the same as them physically, mentally, emotionally, or biologically? Anyone else relate?
I just went and saw Oppenheimer with my husband last night, and then today I saw this. This woman, Tanya Roth, is slamming Oppenheimer for being sexist because there's no women in the first 20 minutes of the movie. This is legit. She tweeted it and everything. So this article kind of goes into it, and it says the film, which explores the life of physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, who created the atomic bomb, was released this weekend to rave reviews, and I agree. Let's read that back. It is a movie about the man, not just a man, the man who created the atomic bomb. Ma'am, I don't know where you missed the memo. This is not a movie about women at all. And that's okay. There are men and women in this world, and both of them have stories. And guess what? Sometimes there's stories about men that are actually worth telling. The responses to this, mwah. This is how I feel. I don't care if there are any women in it whatsoever. As long as it's historically accurate as possible, given the medium, and interesting / entertaining / keeps me engaged. Exactly. That's what movies are for. Anyone who says fun fact is never actually saying anything fun and is annoying. It's a historical movie. Fun fact, go away. This is the best one. Should they have changed history to make it more inclusive for your feelings? That's the epitome of what's wrong right now. Do you know what that word means? The movie is called Oppenheimer. It's about Robert Oppenheimer. Go watch Barbie if you're that pressed about it.
I'm not gonna lie, I used to be a feminist until I saw biological women voting for biological men as Woman of the Year. The day I see biological men voting for biological women as Man of the Year, I'll be a misandrist.
He's not ignoring you. As a husband and father, he's just come to realize that his wants, needs, and desires simply don't matter. So he just works, sleeps, and repeats.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but stop having that man beg you to be intimate with you. Like, seriously, you want to be his person so bad. You want to be the sole provider for this man, but yet you won't even initiate intimacy with him. And then when he gestures towards you or tries to come with to you and be physically intimate, you turn him down. Do you know that you're emotionally and psychologically abusing that man? Stop doing it.
If you have ever wondered why it's so hard to maintain a happy long-term relationship, one of the many reasons is that no one wants you to. Let me show you an example. All right, we got a simple video here of a wife hugging her husband before he leaves for work with a pretty simple message. It says, "I want to be a wife my husband is glad to come home to, and sorry to leave." Nothing harmful. She's dressed like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, but it's not hurting anybody. Now I'm going to scroll through the comment section without skipping anything. And that, dear boys and girls, is called a toxic relationship. And he probably cheats on her all the time. Yep, this is dramatized and pathetic. We no longer live in a society that can support two people, much less two people with children on an average income. No man wants a woman who just plays dress up all day and can't support herself. Imagine if instead of telling him about the baking that happened today or how much laundry you did, you changed out of the flowy skirt, contributed to the financial pot so he doesn't have to work crazy hours, and then you'd actually have lots to tell each other when you both came home at the end of each day. To which she tries to defend herself, says they already have lots to talk about, and he owns his own business, so he makes his own hours. hours. But they don't care. You're the one who makes him leave. If you worked, you wouldn't have to work so many hours. What's up with all these homely stay-at-home wives lately? I don't want to see this crap. He's off to the strip club after work. Did she like club a family of baby seals somewhere in that video and I missed it? The irony is not lost on me that they hate so much that all she did was say that she wants to be a good wife to her man, that they're now going to blame her for the choices that this man made with his own autonomy. That's right, men hold all the power until a woman willfully chooses to be nice to him, and then she's taking advantage of him. Y'all are so unhinged in your single and lonely rage you can't even pick a lane. Let women love their men, you weirdos.
That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers!